So we're the Blakeleys, and we have known Bryant since he was born, and I was lucky enough to be able to say goodbye to him. And so I just wrote a few things down when I was in Denver. As I sit here holding your hand, I know you're not really here. I know you're not here because I'd be happy and not sad. I'd be laughing instead of crying. And I'd probably be drunk instead of sober. I wish you knew how incredibly special you are. And I'm sorry if I didn't show you in the way you needed to be shown. And I'm truly sorry for that. Bryant was beautiful, he was smart, he was funny, and he was kind. Always remembering my birthday, which was the day after he passed, and I really missed not getting that text from him. The last text I had gotten from him was him asking me to wish Brett a happy Father's Day. He was always remembering us and thinking about us. Also on that text, I told him I loved him, and I don't normally do that. For some reason I did, and I'm so happy that I did. Bryant, you'll be in our family's hearts forever, and you'll be missed more than you'll ever know. We love you, and I hope you understand everything I said. I'm not going to be able to do this in person. Sorry. I tried, buddy.
I'm Chase. I'm one of Brian's family friends. And it's been a lot to adjust to, but I fucking miss you. I missed you a lot. I just saw you in Phoenix for Waste Management golf tournament. We partied all night long. Nothing else to. That's all Brian wanted to do was party. And I miss him so much. I miss pit biking at the beach house. I miss having fires with Josh. I miss going to Mexico with Travis and Vince, and just having the best time always, no matter when he was or whenever he was around. It was always a good time. And it just sucks. I miss him so much. The adventures, the long nights, wherever we went and did, it was always a long night, but it was a memory, period. And I miss him.
What's your first memory of Brian?
The first memory with Bryant was McMinimum's downtown Bend. And the guy couldn't sit still for more than 5 minutes. We went outside and we played tag outside of the bar. Just on some stupid shit. And we're playing bar outside of the main street of Bend, playing tag. And like, all the parents were worried about us. But for him, there was no worry in the world. Ever. Ever. I miss him. Stuff. I love you, Bryant. I always will. Travis does. Vince does. They all do. Everybody. I love you. I always will. And I hope everybody sees this and understands how much he was an impact on everybody's life. Period.
All right. My name is Oliver, and one of my absolute favorite memories with Bryant was me sleeping in and missing the bus almost every day and not wanting to wake my parents up and have them get mad at me, and Bryant just offering to give me a ride, even though he had to take his little sister Brooke all the way to High Desert Middle School. He would always come pick me up and take me to school. Even if I was late, he'd bang on my door and say, "Oliver, get up, we're going to school." And I just really appreciate that, like, almost big brother-esque that he played for me. And it carries over to my second favorite memory of being in college and my freshman year, not knowing anyone and being nervous. And I'd only been on the campus for maybe an hour before Bryant was texting me, "Get over to my house, we're going to a concert tonight, you have no choice." And I was like, okay, I guess. And I was so nervous, and I showed up, and it ended up being a night where I met some of my closest friends of my life. And it was all thanks to Bryant being just a bundle of joy, of love, that he could share that with me and show me what it's like to live like Bryant.
My name's Travis Jewett. I know Bryant through the Blakeley's, and one of my first memories of ever meeting Bryant was going to Prineville Lake, skiing, and enduring bad sunburns, drinking with the family, and going boating in the afternoon, and just having a great time. And I think that's one of the earliest memories I have of meeting Bryant Jolma and the Jolma family. And I think the memories started from there, and a lot of memories continued after.
You guys have traveled some together, right?
Yeah. I haven't traveled as much with Bryant, but traveling here to Bend, Oregon, every time we'd come over here with the Blakeley's would always invite me, and we would always be with the Jolmas, whether we're in Prineville, in Bend, in Mexico. And Bryant was always such a warming person to be around. You could talk to him about anything, and he was just a guy to be around that everyone liked. Everyone in the group liked, and he was a puzzle piece for sure.
What's your favorite memory, Bryant?
My favorite memory of Bryant was I was going to a winery with my family. We were staying in Sun River, and on our drive in, we saw Deb and Bryant walking into the venue. And I yelled out the window, "Deb, Bryant, hey, what's going on, guys?" And there was a live band there that night at the winery, and we spent the night dancing to the live band, drinking wine. Afterwards, me and Bryant went downtown Bend and had a few drinks, and we were having a lot of fun. Deb came and picked us up, and I woke up on the floor under some pillows and blankets that Deb and Brian had lined out there on the floor for me. And it was just one of those times, just a spontaneous thing that happened that made us feel like family, where I can call on Bryant, Deb, and all the Jomas to like take me in when like we just meet randomly, and I'm out. I'm super far from downtown Bend, and they're gonna take me in and take care of me, and yeah. And so that's my favorite memory of Brian, is just that spontaneous meeting and going downtown with him and having a great time. Deb picking us up at night, and I think it just kind of encapsulates that family and how they treat the others around them like family. And that family means a lot to me. And Bryant, through the I think 14 years that I knew you, you went from a family friend to a cousin to an example of an older brother, which is something that separates us from a lot of other people, in the fact that we both had a younger sister that we tried our hardest to protect. We fought with them. It was our wrestle partner for many years, but you never knew my sister, but I knew the relationship with your sister, Brooke, and it showed me how to be a bigger brother, and just that relationship that you have. It resonated with me so deep. And I want to say to you that Brooke will always be she will always be my little sister, Chasey's little sister. And there's nothing that can stop us from protecting her. And the relationship that you had with her and that I have with my younger sister, you showed me what it's really like to be generous, to be tough, to be protective, to be the bigger brother that the younger sister really needed. And to Brooke, we'll always be there for you. Pick up the phone, say anytime, because we love you, Brooke, and we will be the bigger brothers that your brother always wanted us to be, and will always want us to be. And we'll miss you. You're our cousin, you're our friend, and you're the brother. And so, want to my beer? I just want to say, cheers, Brian. I will see you in about 70 years, brother.
My name is Austin Power, and I met Bryant at SOU, I believe through the lacrosse boys, and we were kind of I lived in the party house, so I think that's how I met him.
So going back in the party house, what was your first impression, like seeing Brian?
First impression was definitely chill guy, down to party with us, good guy overall, and like surface level liked to party with us, but also wanted to go out in nature with me and, you know, go fuck around in the forest and, you know, hang out, like do create meaningful memories more than just like smoke pot in our living room.
So what is like, as you look back at your time with Brian, and I want to specifically lean into nature because I spent time with him in nature as well. Like, what was it like? What's Brian out in nature?
All right.
Talk about his zest of life.
All right. If anyone knows Brian in nature, I'm gonna go as far to say it's me. I convinced him to fight fires and do wildland firefighting, and him and Marco were contemplating moving back to their respective homes for summer. I said, no freaking way. You guys are gonna come out with me and we're gonna fight forest fires. We're gonna make a little money, and you don't have time to spend the money. And it's gonna be a hoot. It's just like you're a homeless person sleeping in the woods and working, basically. I'd say his like zest for life is exponential would be a good adjective. He always had a good attitude. I ran the squad that Brian worked on fires, and it was, I don't even know the right word for it, but it was critical to me to have him on my squad, because on day 45, he's gonna have a good attitude still, where everyone else is done after day 1, day 2. So I'm like, man, if I could have someone to shoot the shit with and have fun, that would mean the world to me. Selfishly, cherry picked him. And it's so true the entire time. I never saw him break down at all. He was always really excited to go home like I was, but he was also really excited to get a fire call and go out with us also. Yeah.
What you want to say to Brian right now?
God, I miss you, bro. And you suck for making all the boys freaking cry tonight, but probably smack him around a little bit if he was here right now, just because that's what dudes do. And yeah, tell him I miss him more than anything, you know?
What would you like to share to the family about what it just meant to you first?
Yeah, I mean, he meant a ton to me. And I met Deb and Mark, obviously, through Bryant. Me and Mark ended up working together adjacently. We obviously all got out of firefighting, and I was doing sales for a soil company, and kind of was able to try to get Mark a little like work there because he's in shipping and logistics. And I mean, like, the relationships he gave me with his own family is just worth its weight in gold. My family lives 10 hours from here, so having a little family away from family means the world to me too. And Deb and Mark both have always brought me in with open arms, and, you know, let me sleep on their couch, or Mark in particular has let me sleep on his couch probably an obnoxious amount of times, while also doing obnoxious shit while sleeping on Mark's couch. You know, having a dog, and he lets me bring the dog over, and he's always been a true blessing to me. And I'm forever grateful for Deb and Mark and Brooke as well. I mean, yeah, you know, every time they would have a barbecue or anything, they're like, come over, bring your dog, bring your girlfriend, do whatever you need, man. Go over there, and everyone's always happy-go-lucky. And it felt amazing to me to move somewhere so far away and have like such a immediate family so nearby. If I needed anything, I know Mark would be there in a heartbeat. Run into him and Rhonda a couple times a week probably when I'm running and they're out on the trails walking, and every time it's like, oh, thank fucking God, like I needed a break. Mark's gonna talk my ear off for a few minutes, like, you know, like it's perfect having them in town. Yeah. My favorite memory of Bryant that will ever happen is we did I don't know what you would call it. We called it Tour de Franzia, like Franzia being the box of wine. Tour de Franzia, Tour de France, we'll play on words, slap the bag of wine. We had maybe 5 or 6 houses, honestly probably more houses, where everyone would host a game. You had to do like a board game or a drinking game at the house in college. I'm wearing my like firefighter uniform because I had been working earlier that day, and Brian's like, doesn't matter, show up at house 2, house 3, I don't give a shit, man. And Deb and Mark showed up for this drinking event with all of us like dumbass college kids just getting fucked up. And one of our buddies was leaning on Deb. Obviously nothing crazy, but had his arm around Deb. And it's forever the funniest memory to me is Brian looking at us and going, should I beat his ass? And we go, yeah, you should. That's your mom. You should do that. And so Brian runs up. Kid couldn't hurt a fly if he wanted her to fly. And he sucker punched our friend so freaking hard in the face. And then they started like wrestling on the ground, and obviously we broke it up before anything crazy happened. And it was the funniest thing I think to date I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it was just so not Bryant that it actually was Bryant. Yeah.
Totally unpredictable.
Yeah, totally unpredictable. I think that's the thing I like to share the most, actually. Yeah.
Well, I'm Angie, part of the Shaw clan. I know Bryant from just Devin, Mark, and Brookie, you know? Part of the group, part of the party group.
What's your first memory of Bryant?
First memory of Bryant. Oh my gosh, something at the beach. I'm not sure what beach memory, but
Yeah.
a beach memory, of course, you know, probably being down on the beach playing football with the kid.
Football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Memories of the turkey heads that we wore.
Yeah, the kid.
Puerto Vallarta stuff.
Oh, Puerto Vallarta. Lots of Puerto Vallarta.
Stuff.
Lots of bucerias. Yeah.
What's the thing you remember most about Bryant?
Most about Bryant. Just his smile, his beautiful eyes, his warm nature, his crazy soul. His laugh. That's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, me too. The same thing. Just an infectious smile.
Yeah. Wonderful kiddo.
You know, more intelligent than you realize, actually.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Very gifted. Gifted athlete, gifted just all around, you know.
A lot of energy. You know, a lot of energy.
We'll miss that about him.
What do you want to say to the family?
Our hearts are so full of love for Deb, Mark, and Brookie, and Bryant, you know.
It's a beautiful family. And you can tell. Yeah. Your community, I mean, the outpouring for their community. Beautiful people.
Yeah, this is an amazing
family.
amount of people here, and that shows the love that his family has given to him, to each other over the years.
We're here for that family.
Yeah, yep, we love them.
Love them.
Oh, I'm gonna cry, so I'm out.
My name is Wyatt Hinkard, and I may be the only person
in this world who had the pleasure of going to high school and off to college with Bryant Jolma. And to be able to spend two phases of my life who shaped me into the person I am today and face those with the same buddy was something that I'll forever be grateful for. I might have been a year older than Bryant, but as soon as he came to Southern Oregon, I felt there was a responsibility to bring him in with my friends and to welcome him in with open arms, just like he did when I first moved to Bend and I finally met him. It was just openness, communication, niceness, and kindness. And I felt that he deserved that back, and I'm so grateful to be able to spend those parts of my life with him. And I love him dearly, and I will always cheers to him. My favorite memory with Bryant was his obsession with queso dip. He loved it. Anytime I'd show up at his house or I was telling him I was coming over, he would ask me to bring queso. And one time in college, I don't know who was with me, but he was in the back seat, sitting in the middle, and all of a sudden, he's eating queso and chips and just staring at me in the rearview mirror. And like, he planned it. I know he planned it. And it was such a beautiful moment because it felt full circle of him always being like, you got to bring this with me. And then just showing up out of nowhere, eating that stuff. And I think overall, my favorite moment with Bryant was he made you feel like family.
My name's Vincent Shaw. I know Bryant through Blakely's family friends. I was blessed enough to meet all of them just through get-togethers, and Bryant was always a huge light in the room, and his whole family was. Mark and Deb have always been so caring. Rookie's amazing. Just lots of love from the family. So very blessed to have all of them.
What's your favorite memory of Bryant?
My favorite memory of Bryant, it's my favorite memory, but it also is the worst.
Next morning, we're at the pool. He's telling the story. You would have thought it was a South Park skit.
Yeah, the whole time. It's just
Like, no, that's
not what happened at all.
Matter of fact, we almost got sold for gold.
What's your favorite of Bryant right now?
I would want to say to Bryant that he's probably more heard now, and being able to see his impact here. You can probably hear it in the audio.
On everybody.
I mean, what an impact.
Friends, cousins, everybody.
It's not all the time that you get to meet someone that I didn't get to hang out with Brian a lot. We lived on the other side of the mountain, but every time I got to see him, I smiled and laughed. And obviously over here, huge impact, and it's not every day that you get to meet someone that can touch people like that. So I think, Brian, you can rest easy and know that you're very, very loved and
Did something for everybody.
did something for everybody. Everybody's got a huge mark, and live big.
Always.
Okay, my name is Hannah, and Bryant and I met in the 6th grade, and then we were friends. We were like best friends until I moved away in high school, and then reconnected when we went to the same college. And the first day I met Bryant was in the 6th grade in Miss Meredith's class. Our last names are next to each other, and we got sat next to each other. and I was not a confident kid, and he'd like bounce when he walked, and just kind of took me in his wing. And then we did what was called the Wax Museum, and we all had these figures, and the parents came, we like gave them our speeches, and I was King Tut, and I had a fake beard that was like bedazzled, and he's like, "Can I come meet my mom?" And I was like, "Okay." And so like my hair was slicked back, and I had a fake beard, and I was like, and then they just adopted me, and we lived in the same neighborhood. I think one of my favorite memories is Brooke's college graduation. They had a party at the house. We were drinking, we were playing games, and I was drinking champagne. And Bryant, unbeknownst to me, had a syringe, and he kept pulling syringes of vodka and sneaking them into my champagne. And so I was like, at one point, I was like, wow, I am way drunker than I thought I would have been off of just a couple glasses of champagne. And he started laughing, and he was like, we've been playing vodka, like, here's a syringe, we'll be doing this to you all night. And I was like, oh, that makes way more sense. Or there's a time that we all played soccer, and he ran to my house one day, and he knocked on the door in the middle of summer, and woke me up, and he said, "We're going on a run." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Yes, you are." And I was like, "Okay." And so I got dressed, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Brian, Garrett, and Garrett's dog." We're like, "Oh, we're actually running to Garrett's house," which was like in the same general area, but not like conveniently close. And so we went on this run, and they outran me. And at one point, Mark and Brooke drove by, and Brooke said, "I saw Bryant and Garrett." And then I saw Hannah, and I was like, it was unwilling, but it was a good day.
What would you like to say to Bryant right now?
I would like to say that I miss him, and I'm sad, and I love him, and I wish that I had a million more moments.
My name's Mark Orlandi, and I first met Bryant. I first met Bryant was through Josue Reyes. Sway, I met him at a smoke shop when I first moved to Ashland, and he played soccer at SOU, and him and Bryant were friends, and we all liked smoking pot. So Sway was like, "Hey, we're gonna go smoke a bowl with one of my soccer teammates, who was Bryant, who picked us up in this red Mazda." We both had the same haircut, or the same tan, and he had chinky eyes as well as I do, as you guys know. But he was like, we kind of looked like brothers, and I was like, "What up, twin?" And that's how we met.
I love the story about you not having a passport. This is one of my favorites that I didn't even know about, so I'd like you to just share that story.
Yeah. So I think I played lacrosse, all of like a long time. And I was good at lacrosse. I actually had offers to go to places similar to Bryant. Had offers to go to places aside from SOU. And I was a little demon in high school, and my parents were scared if I went somewhere too far, I'd have too much fun and like flunk out. And so I ended up going to SOU and wasn't even going to play lacrosse. And then we met Garrett and Bryant. And Bryant was kind of in the same way, where he was so naturally gifted at it that during the end of it, like him and Kelly and all the lads, I was playing lacrosse with like our other friends, and we had a chance to go to Canada. And I couldn't give it in the speech because, there were so many soccer coaches there. But I was like, dude, come on. Like, because he played lacrosse in high school as well, and he was a lefty. He was left kicker, left lacrosse, but he was right-handed. But he was taught sports in that way. And I was playing, you could right midi, and he eventually became the left wing or left midi.
I was like, dude, we're going to go to Canada. It's going to be jumping. And so he was like, all right, I'll come. He just actually took my spot in lacrosse. He actually started, which fucking drove me up a wall. I had to switch positions. And we end up winning a few games, and we actually got the opportunity to go to Canada. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, I don't have a passport. He's like, what do you mean you don't have a passport? I was like, I literally don't have a passport. I had no money, I didn't have a car, and I'd already been using his car way more than he liked. He actually taught me how to drive manual. And so, yeah, I needed to get to San Francisco to get a passport. And I'd only known the kid for like, and I mean, you know, we were every single day we were together. You know, we were either at a kid named Garrett Greenway's house or Austin and Wyatt and Chase, who were the firefighter buddies, and then Henry House. Oh, Mark, you know about Henry House. And Deb and Brooke, you all know. Mark wouldn't even put down our little dog. But yeah, Bryant was like, dude, let's go right now. I was like, you're kidding. Really? He was like, yeah. Like, we're not going to miss Canada. You convinced me to quit soccer. What do you mean? So we get in the car, we drive down, and brings me to San Francisco. And it's an egregious process to get a passport when you don't have one. It's an egregious process. Like I probably undersaid it. It was probably more like 6 hours that he sat in his car just smoking pot, waiting for me to get his passport. And I had a really bad relationship with my family at the time, and we're obviously like in town. I didn't even tell my family I were in town, and he was like, we gotta stop by. So I truly was not even gonna see my family. And he was like, well, I want to meet him. I was like, all right, fuck. You know, it's like bringing a girl home. It fucking works. Actually, way better, way easier, because and put such a good impression on my family that they, you know, tried to then keep in touch with me and met Mark and Deb, and I was like, that's the realest shit anyone's, you know, for not knowing. It's not a close drive to San Francisco from Ashland, Oregon. I fucking hated Taylor. I mean, I just grew up, you know, listening to rap, rock, and EDM. That was true. And we get in the car, and I was like, let me play slaps. And he's like, oh, I don't have an aux cord. And I was like, oh my God, I knew that too. I was like, what do we got? And he was like, we got Taylor Swift or Norah Jones. I was like, all right, then we're listening to Norah Jones. And he was like, dude, Taylor Swift ain't bad. Come on. And by the end, I know every single word to both albums. But yeah.
What would you like to say to Bryant?
I still talk to him every day. But dude, I can miss you. Sorry I missed the call. Yep. You know. Love you.
My name's Austin Reimer. When I met Bryant, I was working for a company called Grayback Forestry. We were wildland firefighters together. He was one of my squad members, like, in a sense, I was making the decisions that would affect his well-being. I just want to say that Jolma did not back down from a challenge. And there is a story I want to tell about that. I think it was about, 5:30 in the evening, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. And shit got real. And essentially what was happening is there was fire that was, running through a previously burned area, and the fuels in there, like super tall grass mixed in with recently planted trees. It's kind of a really bad scenario in terms of like what was burning. And if you were to like picture what the gates of hell look like, you could see that looking off the road that we were trying to hold. And so from the division supervisor, I was tasked to basically hold this road, which I knew was absolutely an impossible task given what the hell was going on. And I had, 4 other squad members that, we had to really split up division of labor, try to focus on different things in terms of making an attempt to contain the fire. One of those assignments was to burn off this chunk of road that we were sitting on and hopefully hold this thing mid-slope, which if you know anything about wildland firefighting, holding something mid-slope, it's a low odds deal. It's like a 5-leg parlay. Like, it's just not gonna work. But there was one guy I could count on to help me out with it. And I only had the choice of like, okay, you got one guy to help you out with this assignment. And that one guy that I picked was Bryant. Because that guy was the most skookum motherfucker that I had seen run in the woods in a long time. And he wasn't scared of danger. And I put him into the danger zone. Like, this was a bad deal. And so I was like, hey, Bryant, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to burn out this chunk of line on this road, mid-slope. And, once he looked over the road and saw, the fire coming up, like, we're talking literally fire as far as the eye can see, just running straight up at us. And, the other thing was, it was really threatening our escape route to get out of there. So it was kind of a do or die scenario. And the thing that I will always remember is that he just took that assignment. He was like, okay, cool, let's do it. Let's fall. Like, unfazed in the face of danger. And so we attempted to burn off this line mid-slope. It failed. The fire blew out, ran up the slope like it was a goddamn shit show. Like, we were lucky to get out of there alive. Eventually we called it. We're like, all right, fire's too close. Like, we gotta move. So we got everybody out of there. We had like 3 helicopters around robin, dropping fire suppressant, which is like the blue shit, not even the red shit, the Smurf juice as we call it, on the fire, trying to keep it down. Like the whole Deal. Let's focus on this one chunk of line. And I'll say it was in my 11 years of fighting wildland fires, still do it. That was the most extreme shit I've ever seen. And Bryant just, with no hesitation, just answered the call on an impossible mission, showed true bravery, and I'll remember, we got out of there, we got back down to the road where it was safe on pavement, and we just looked at each other like, what the fuck just happened? This is what I would say to Bryant today. Bryant Jolma is not a pussy. That guy has a nutsack of steel, and I admire the fact that he would go into the face of danger without any hesitation, and the trust he had spoke volumes to me and to everybody around him. That was a real, that guy's a real deal. And I would tell him today, thank you. Thank you for your service to the people who wouldn't have stood a chance if he hadn't been there to at least put a dent in it. Not all men would show the bravery Bryant did. That's all I have to say about that.
So my name is Brooke. I met Bryant through his girlfriend, fiance, Brookie. I heard stories all about him all throughout their time in college, but the first time I actually met him was when Brookie and Bryant moved out to Colorado. And I just knew from the minute I met him that he was just this ball of energy. I knew he'd match Brookie's energy and vibe perfectly. But I also just immediately, when I met him, I knew his heart and how happy he made everyone around him. One of the ones that stands out to me is some dumb boy broke my heart, as it goes. But at the time, Brookie and Bryant were living half an hour from me, and Bryant was like, come over right now, come have a big sleepover with us, we'll do snacks and dinner and movie night. And I was like, great, yeah, sounds like fantastic, I need some good friend time. And Bryant just made it a point to make sure I laughed the entire time. And then we got up in the morning, and Brookie works on Saturdays. And Bryant said, well, you don't have to leave, you can keep this going. And so he immediately just got up, started making me his favorite breakfast, which was his homemade French toast. Amazing. And then he took me and he was like, all right, we're having mimosas and then we're going golfing, which then started our adventures of he started trying to teach me how to golf. Less is hard for his patience. But that was just one of my favorite days. So I think that was the first one-on-one time I got with Bryant. That he's always a good friend, whenever he's with Brookie and everyone else, but that was the first one-on-one time where I really just got to see Bryant's personality and his character, and he just got to tell me about things that get him excited and his passions in life and his dreams, and that just drew me to him more, and that's, I think, when like our real friendship really started.
You talked to Bryant today. What did you want him to know?
I think I just would really need him to know the impact that he had on my life. He just always made me feel so at home and at peace, but also he always brought the fun, loving energy that I needed. I think he could sense whenever I'm having a bad mental health day or anything like that. And he would just say, okay, we need to get your body moving. We need to go do something fun. Also, he would be like, all right, here are the kitties. You need to play with the kitties. You need some kitty time. They're going to bring you some love. And then we're going to go and do something fun. Whether it's getting outside, going to do an activity you love, or you look at me and say, like, I know you love art. Like, do you want to go and just go to a museum? Or do you want to start painting? Or whatever you need to do. Like, I would just say that Bryant was always the person that you needed him to be, and gave and gave and gave without asking anything in return. And I definitely tried to be a good friend to him in return, but I feel like it's so hard to match the kind of friend that he is and the generosity that he gives. I would say, so in Denver, me and Brooke Scheiniger, we grew up in like Denver area, and so we had a lot of good friends from high school and like childhood that we had like this giant friend group that we would still hang out with. And we introduced Bryant to the friend group, and he instantly just became best friends with everyone. And I love seeing that, like, especially in my guy friends from like high school and like childhood, they were good people, but not the best. But Bryant brought out the absolute best of it. Like, I'm supposed to say he taught them compassion and generosity and how to take care of the people you love and what it looks like to really show up for someone. And to see, I mean, a young man in his early 20s teach other, young men or young women in their early mid-20s how to love and really show up for the people that are there. It was wisdom that was so well beyond his years. I felt like it's just because he had so much love in his heart. And I just want his family to know that love and care and generosity and showing up for people is going to live on forever and ever, and that like everyone that he taught that to is going to carry that with them for the rest of their lives.
Sure. My name is Michael Kalberg. I've met Bryant during my 6th, 7th year in middle school. I met him at High Desert, and we never really connected as really real friends at that time, but we connected as friends later in life as college roommates at Southern Oregon University. And I can't describe how much I've appreciated that moment living with him during that time at SOU.
So I know him personally. Mm-hmm. I've known him since he was a little kid. I have all of my stories. What to you made Bryant so endearing and such a special person?
Yeah, I mean, it's multiple things. I mean, just like living with him day to day. I mean, he was always there. He was always around to help you with things that you needed to get done. But it'd be the more sparse times where you'd want something to do. I mean, I moved to Ashland about a year after he already connected with a lot of friends, created a lot of really deep connections with people. And as soon as I moved there and moved into the house with him, it was this really endearing moment where we were able to like find things that we're connected with and be able to move on from that and create really personal connections with each other. Like, for example, we would go and play tennis with each other at the what is it called? The Lithia Park at downtown Ashland, and we would go and play tennis. And I remember, and we would do that all the time. And I remember one time we were all ready to go and play tennis, and we went down there, and during that winter, they had converted all of the tennis courts into pickleball courts for all the old people there, because the old people I'm not going to say anything too strange, but the old people really wanted to have something that would be more accommodating to themselves and not to the youth, basically, that lived in Ashland. And there wasn't a lot of tennis courts that you can actually go and play with each other. And I played tennis throughout high school, and Bryant never did. And every time I played with him, he would run me up for my money every single time. Like, he had that locked in every single time. And it's just so hard for me. Like, I got like 7 siblings, very loving family. And I was always jealous of how connected Bryant's family was. Like, Bryant, Brooke, and Deb, everybody was just like, it just felt like they know what was going on with every aspect of every person's life at every moment. And I really appreciated that, and I wanted that for myself in a lot of ways. So I guess what I would really want to say to Bryant is like, man, I miss you, for sure. It's the first thing. I wish you were here. I wish you could be here with all of the boys that you went to college with, and just know how loved you were.
I'm Emma. I've known Bryant since the day he was born because I'm older by like 5 months. But we grew up together on family vacations and graduation, all the things, prom, did all of the things, yeah.
I'm Shannon. I am the mom. I have known Bryant since he was born. And the day that I met Bryant, I'm going to tell the story, was Deb hadn't left the house with Bryant as a newborn yet. And I came over from Portland with Emma in the car seat, and Emma and made her go out to lunch. And that was the first time that she had left the house with him. And got her on her way to motherhood with that. So that's my first memory of Bryant, and I don't even know where to go from there.
I'm Sean. Enjoyed all our time with Bryant. Known him since he was born. Mark and Deb, best friends ever. And this last year, we spent a wonderful time with Bryant at Shasta. Got to go golfing with him, stay in the water, and it was a wonderful time, and that's my memory of him.
This is Ryan. I've known Bryant since I gained conscious and can remember things. Yeah. We only saw each other a few times a year, but he was always that older brother who, showed me what it was to be confident and like be adventurous, and the shenanigans we got into are some of the, the greatest memories of my life. Just him leading the way and making me the person I am today.
I'm pretty sure we've shared all.
I feel like we've shared everything.
There were no.
Apparently, they just learned tonight, though, that Brian and I have kissed, so maybe that's new. Apparently, that wasn't known. But Brian and I did make the younger siblings kiss when they were little, because, older siblings have to haze the younger ones. So on family vacations, when we'd get together and we'd be like, we dare you guys to kiss, and they would do it, because they would do whatever we told them to. And then, we all got older and, how things go. But apparently nobody else knew that. So we did a much better job at hiding it, unlike Ryan and Ricky, who was very obvious and always flirty with each other and had their fake wedding. And Brian and I kept ours a little under wraps. We didn't have a fake wedding. Don't worry about that. But, yeah. How much I'll miss him, how much I loved him. I thought that we would, grow old together and our kids would be best friends the same way that, like, our parents are friends and we got to be best friends growing up, even though we lived not in the same city, but that we just got to, like, share so many memories together growing up and all of the family vacations and all of the things we did. And I thought we'd get to have that together with our kids and just as we got older together. And so I just really treasure everything that we got to do together.
I think we just want Brian to know that he was one of us. He didn't live with us, and we maybe saw him a few times a year, but our core family memories are him.
My name is Kelly Gabar. I can't remember the first time I met Brian. It feels like we just knew each other forever. We just knew each other forever. For the people who were watching this, Donnie Emerson just made a dumb face at me. That's why I laughed. I know we met sometime in middle school, but I can't remember ever meeting him. We were just friends. Everybody, whoever gave those speeches, always said all the nicest things. Bryant and I were friends because we were both dickheads. We were both the biggest dickheads you could think of. There was the first true, I don't know about the first one, but the clearest memory I have of like our earliest true friendship was after a football game. Oh, sorry, Mark. He taught me how to drive shift in his Audi. I think it was a A4. I don't know. I think it was an Audi A4. Mark knew about this because he got mad at Brian for teaching me how to drive shift in his Audi. Yeah, that was fun. Brian and I probably had to forgive each other for more things that we did to each other than most friends have of good memories. But so the best memory I have was one that I had, not that I had to forgive him for. It was very funny. We were playing Corbin. SOU is our big rival. And at halftime, because at halftime he would always come to me and he would always give me water and he was very energetic. You did great, all the things I did well. Some of the things, hi Mark, some of the things I did poorly. And then at this halftime, Mark, come here, you're gonna hear this. So we're at the Corbin game, at halftime, he always gave me water. He always gave me water at halftime, or Gatorade. And this halftime, he came and he gave me a bottle, and I squirted it in my mouth, and we were walking to our locker room, and it was the grossest combination of tequila, vodka, and whiskey that I've ever had in my entire life. And he couldn't stop laughing for the entire halftime talk. Our coach Bidium had to ask him to leave the tent because he was laughing so hard. And it actually helped me a lot because I was really nervous for that game. And that taste and his smile really brought me back to why I played the game, just for love.
No regret. I
would like to apologize for the religious aspect of this fucking. I knew you weren't really religious, buddy. I'm sorry for how much of the religious talk there was. I'm sorry the way it went down. But the forgiveness you gave me throughout your life has helped me be more forgiving to others. Whew. All right. That's good.
I think one of my favorite memories is, there's been a few, and they've all taken place in Denver, and of course it's Supercross weekend. And I was adamant about staying in my seat. His friends had seats higher up, and I said, I want to sit here. This is my spot. I'm leaving, or you can leave. I'm going to stay. And he stayed with me the whole race, and we made friends with the people around us and just talked and may have drank a little too much, but that seems natural when it came to him. And
so let's talk about that a little bit further, because I think Brian was one of those guys that could make friends with anybody. So explain, how was Brian able to just befriend everybody?
Finds some way to insert himself into a conversation he overhears. That's usually the forte, and then it takes off from there, and depending on how many drinks he's had, he can go on and on about anything. And that seems to resonate with a lot of people, and they just love to talk to him. He makes people laugh and carries on from there, and just, he's so funny. He's so funny.
When do you think is the time you can remember the most that Bryant was there for you as a big brother when you needed him the most?
Oh, after the race. We had gotten split up. I took the train with his roommate and friends, and he rode a scooter back, somehow beat us before the train, and I got separated from everybody, and so I called him in a panic, lost in the streets of Denver, a little more drunk than I'd like to have been, and I told him where I was at, and he was on the phone, and I could hear him running. Then all of a sudden, I see him just take off on the other side of the street, and so then I was like, Bryant, came over, gave me a big hug, and just stood there for a couple minutes, and then we walked back and made food and had a great night.
When you think back of Bryant, and it's just the two of you, what were your favorite things for just the two of you to do, whether it's like a Saturday or a Sunday?
We loved to watch any silly sci-fi show. Started with H2O, Mako Mermaids, of course. He was the one that showed me that, so I can't even take credit for that. And Teen Wolf was our weekly routines, and we would sit and watch, yell at each other when the commercial's over, and Adamant, 7 p.m. on the dot, on the couch together, and we would usually go through an entire loaf of bread making cinnamon sugar toast. That was our favorite snack. And after school, my dad had buy a lot of bread because we had so much of it.
Understandable. As you go back to maybe like high school and Bandera, what were some of your favorite like outdoor activities to do?
Most obvious, soccer. Duh. We lived and breathed on the soccer field, and when we started our new club and there was just 2 teams and I started practicing with them, he never once made me feel like I shouldn't be there. And I was 15 playing with all these 18-year-old dudes. So I had a lot of development to go, and he never made me feel like I shouldn't be there. And my biggest cheerleader, also my biggest hater, but you gotta have balance. He's there to humble me and lift me up.
Where do you think his competitive spirit came from?
His mother. We were always competitive. Who was the best? Who got the better grades? Who performed better? It was always a competition, and that was what made it fun. Push each other and be the best that we could be. I think a lot of ways he came out winning, but I never told him that. I never accepted it.
Or should you?
Yeah, it's not I can't do that to him. Yeah. Can't let his head get bigger than it was.
Fair enough. You guys travel quite a bit. In fact, I was thinking about our relationship and how I've gotten to know you. And like, even when it was in Central Oregon, it'd be at Sun River.
Right.
Or at the Sub Mountain, or we'd be at the beach. What are some of your favorite trips that you took with Ryan?
Probably San Diego. He had a soccer tournament, so we only got to see him for a little bit, but we all went to SeaWorld together, and that was really fun. And probably Mexico trips, and I wasn't allowed to do all the things the cool kids were doing, the older kids, but we still had fun and played all the games. Everywhere we went, card games, and that was his thing. And he won more times than I like to admit, but he's been the best, and I've loved our adventures together.
Awesome. Is there any time that you remember that just is going to stick with you forever?
I think it was a single moment. But every day in middle school, he would get home before I did because he was in high school. So we'd get home, we'd meet in the foyer, give me a hug, and we'd talk about our day. That was every day. He'd come down, meet me in the foyer.
How did you get the nickname Buddy?
He was everybody's buddy. I don't know. I don't think I could pronounce Bryant, but Buddy was easier, or Bubba. He liked to go by Bubba because of Bubba Stewart. He's a big Bubba Stewart fan, so that's where Bubba came from, and it kind of just escalated into Buddy. And he was everybody's buddy.